Well, we're here this morning with Dr. Jane Goodall, the British primatologist, ethologist, anthropologist, and founder of the Jane Goodall Institute and the Roots of Shoots program. And Hereditary Chief Phil Lane Jr. Phil shared with me this morning that when Jane was adopted into the Ahunktuan Dakota family, her name means stands up for the natural world woman. And from the sacred tree, yes, she wrote a sentence that says, the ancient indigenous philosophy of respect for Mother Earth and respect for all life forms on the planet is my philosophy too. And brother Phil Lane Jr. is an enrolled member of the Ahunktuan Dakota Chickasaw Nations and chairman of Four Worlds International Institute dedicated to unifying the human family and founder of the Compassion Games International. And I'm so grateful to you both for all the work and all the effort and everything you've done on behalf of Mother Earth. And Phil, I thought maybe we could start with a prayer from you.
Well, I'll just sing one verse of a song. It says, Wayanki Chinupa Kile Wakayelo Wayanki. What it says is Mother Earth sacred and all upon it, mineral, plants, animal, and human beings. And the word Chinupa means sacred pipe. If you turn the pipe upward, you see the bowl with the hole where you put the tobacco. That means the mouth, and it goes on down. It means we're one with the mineral people who give us the power of cohesion or unity, or one with the plant people who give us the power of growth. We're one with the animal people whose senses we share, and we're of course together as human beings. All these things, we're all interrelated. We're all sacred. All is sacred. That's what the song says. So I'll just sing one verse. Wayanki, 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 Chenupa Kile, Wakayelo, Wayanki.
Oh, thank you, Phil. So this brief conversation is focusing on the emergence and significance of Indigenous leadership and wisdom and the importance of engaging youth. And Jane, we wanted to ask you, from your perspective, why is it important that the messages of Indigenous peoples be shared with the world at this time?
I believe it's important because the Indigenous people have a very special relationship with the earth. It's a relationship that is being increasingly destroyed in the Western world, the world of the white man and the yellow man too. And so we actually need Mother Earth. And because we have fallen out of respect for Mother Earth around the planet, it means that we are increasingly in danger. We're in danger of destroying the future of our children, of our grandchildren. And there is this saying, I believe it's an Indigenous saying, we haven't inherited this planet from our parents, we borrowed it from our children. But in fact, that's wrong, because we have stolen and we are continuing to steal the future of our children. And if we can come back to the Indigenous wisdom of making decisions based on how will this affect my people generations ahead, the 7 generations ahead, and instead now huge decisions, very destructive decisions, are made based on how will this help me now, the next shareholders meeting, my next political campaign, and so on, with no thought for the future generations. Yes. So that's why I feel the voice and the teaching of the Indigenous people is very important for us all today.
Yeah, yes, well said. And Chief Phil, from your perspective, what's the fundamental theme of the Indigenous prophecies and vision that guides you at this time of deepening crisis around climate change and the need for restoring and protecting Mother Earth?
All over Mother Earth, Indigenous peoples have prophecies profound prophecies of this day we're living in today. And that we would go through a long, long spiritual wintertime of 500 years. And by the way, I want to say that every human being sat before the sacred fire. Every human being was mentored by our beloved, the breast of our beloved Mother Earth. That was our teacher. That's who our teacher is, our beloved Mother Earth. And I think just hearing Makoji Najiwi stands up for the natural world woman, you can see that she knows exactly those things. But every human being can return back to being in oneness with, related to. In fact, that is who we really are. We are part of a beautiful web of life. And that's what the prophecies promise, that after this long winter time, a great spiritual winter time would unfold, which is unfolding as we speak. A time when the indigenous peoples would awaken after this long, long spiritual winter time. And with them, also with all members of human family eventually arise and recognize their role in protecting and restoring Mother Earth.
Mm. Yep. Yes. And Jane, this is the 25th anniversary of Roots and Shoots. And I wanted to ask you to share with us a little about how you see the program engaging youth in creating a better world.
Well, Roots and Shoots and developing it is really, I believe, one of my most important missions today. It began with 12 high school students in Tanzania in 1991. It's now in 140 countries with about 100,000 active groups and members from kindergarten all the way through university and even beyond. And its main message, every single individual matters. Every single individual has a role to play. And every single one of us makes a difference every single day. And we all make some impact on the planet every day. And it's up to us to choose what sort of impact we will make. And the Roots and Shoots program is youth-driven, and young people talk about, discuss among themselves, what are the issues they care about. And from these discussions, they develop 3 projects, one to help their human community, one to help other animals, and one to help the environment we all share. And running throughout is a theme of let's break down the barriers that we build between people of different nations, different cultures, different religions, between the young and the old, and between us and Mother Earth. So as I travel around the world, I meet these groups of young people, and we partner with other youth movements that have the same kind of philosophy. And so we grow all the time, and what we're creating is the family of man, so that we may have different colored skin, different cultures, different clothes, different foods, but if we cry, the tears are the same. If we bleed, our blood is the same color. There is the same heart beating inside each human chest. We are one family, and we need to create a critical mass of youth that understand, yes, we may need money to live. It goes wrong when we live for money, unless we're living for money to make the world a better place.
Oh, beautiful. God, thank you, Jane. And Phil, maybe you can share a little about our work on the Compassion Games and compassion for Mother Earth and all living beings. It's such a unifying thread and similar approach to what Dr. Goodall is talking about.
Well, you know, the realization, full realization of the oneness of the human family, when that is enshrined in our hearts, and that's why Roots and Shoots is such a absolutely essential and critical movement at this time of the arising of the 7th generation, is that once that's enshrined in our heart, and once we truly understand we are members of one human family, with that comes many things that cannot be achieved without it. Comes the absolutely elimination of all prejudice, every form of prejudice, anything that causes us to feel better than or less than another human being. And only on that foundation can we truly develop world peace, in which so many throughout history have longed for in whatever part of the world they were in. But today it's global. And so this last weekend I was at the American Indian Science and Engineering Society. It's the most profound indigenous organization in Turtle Island here. And there was young people from 189 chapters throughout North America. And this is exactly what we were talking about. In fact, we were discussing how we could introduce these entire 189 chapters to Roots and Shoots and to the Compassion Games, because that is really, really getting at the core of sharing with the human family exactly what Jane said at the introduction. Makoji Najiwi said, Elder Sister said, at the beginning of the Sacred Tree, and that is to respect Mother Earth, to respect all life forms, and also to respect ourselves, and compassion, feeling for others, feeling for the suffering that's going on in Mother Earth today because of climate change, because of old, outworn ideas of superiority, of dominance, of the oppression of women, which is synonymous with the oppression of Mother Earth. This is why compassion is such a incredibly important spiritual capacity and quality that we are achieving. And I see being achieved through the Compassion Games, and this is exactly what I've seen for many, many years. Makoji Najiwi, Elder Sister Jane, has been her mission, because we all realize as we get older, we're going to go to that other side camp. But now we know coming after us, our young people are going way, way further than we've gone. That's the goal of a good teacher, that those following you, those you're mentoring, those you're sharing with, will go way further than ourselves, because they have things yet to do we have not seen, and will experience things which we've only prayed and hoped for.
Yeah, well, the Compassion Games we call survival of the kindest. Jane, is this global we call co-opetition. It's a challenge to work and play together, not against each other, but with each other, to really unleash the creativity and inspiration needed to catalyze a movement, recognizing that, if we don't change our direction, we're likely to wind up where we're headed. And it's such a beautiful expression of the unity to have you and Phil together. Phil and I have been working for years on this, and Roots and Shoots has been, and I look for ways that we can partner with Roots and Shoots. We're right in the middle of this co-opetition we call Love This Place, Serve the Earth Week. And we're going to broadcast this on Earth Day. And Phil, maybe you want to share, and Jane, maybe you want to share a little bit about what else you see is next. I know you're going to be at the UN with this alternative summit that's happening. And Jane, I know you're headed to the East Coast as well. I'd love our listeners to know what you see is happening next and where they can step forward in support of Roots and Shoots and Compassion Games and every other expression of unity that's needed right now.
Well, everywhere I go, and I do travel 300 days a year around the world, and everywhere I go, I talk about Roots and Shoots. I almost always refer to the indigenous wisdom, and we are very much searching for partnerships. We've gone quite far ahead working with indigenous groups in Canada, more so than the US so far, but working with the indigenous communities, as my brother Phil very well knows, has always been very, very high on my agenda. And maybe this is the moment that it will flower, because that will come. I know it will come. And the reason I know it will come is because Roots and Shoots is changing lives. It is empowering young people. It's helping them to understand that they as individuals can really make a difference just with the small choices that we all make every day. What do we buy? What do we eat? What do we wear? Where did it come from? Did it cause suffering to human beings? Is child slave labor in a distant place? Did it cause suffering to animals in these terrible, terrible factory farms? Was it grown as so much food is grown today by spreading poisonous toxins, poisonous chemicals on the ground? It is so stupid. Were the plants messed about with genetically modified techniques? And it's the young people who are beginning to understand we have to do things differently. And we have to find a way to try and work together to solve the terrible problems of inequality and poverty and lack of jobs on the one hand, and on the other hand, doing things right by Mother Earth, right by other people, and right by the animal kingdom. Those are the problems. And we have to raise young people who understand the problems and who don't start shouting at people who do things differently, but sit down and talk with them, listen to them. And you can never move forward if you refuse to sit down with those people who you believe, and very often it's true, are doing things wrong. And it's only something we can do together. And I think as the young people grow up in this philosophy of we are one family, we're more likely to see change. And if we don't, well, it's not just Mother Earth who will suffer. It's every being living on Mother Earth, including us, that will suffer.
Yeah. Yes. Fel, you want to share from your perspective?
Well, we are at this time long promised by all the sacred prophecies. That time we're entering into the day that shall not be followed by night. In this process, we will have, and we have, many, many, many challenges before us, but I believe the lesson of the last 500 years that is going to be very, very clear to us as we reach our adulthood spiritually on Mother Earth, which is our destiny, just like from infancy to childhood to adolescence, and now we're stepping into our early, true spiritual adulthood on the planet, on Mother Earth, is that we are spiritual as well as material beings, and that when we allow ourselves to completely immerse ourselves in the spiritual, without the spiritual world within us, but instead in the material world, completely become materialistic, and we see our value all in materialistic terms, and we believe that by acquiring more and more and more, we become more and more. Then, in fact, it is a path that has led us directly to where we are. It's a path of destruction. Now, science, for example, science has brought us these tremendous, rapidly emerging changes in technology and so forth. But science without spirituality, science without values becomes a Frankenstein. On the other hand, spirituality, I really sometimes don't like to use the word religion, even though the Latin root means to bind together, to unite. Sometimes I think that if it's causing all this disunity, it's better without it. But our meaning is we've lost even the meaning of the word religion. That's why I use spirituality. But religion, if it has no reason, if it loses the true science, understanding, then it becomes fanaticism. And we see it, by the way, everywhere on Mother Earth. People, in the name of quote unquote religion, destroying Mother Earth, destroying other human beings. And so we have to find this balance between science and spirituality, or science and religion, if we could use the word in its proper context. And so I see these two incredible powers as they truly are one and become one, and we become and learn because we have to know how to love. We have to know. Knowledge and love are the wings of the same eagle. And so it's important, very, very important, that we come to this understanding, we bind these things together. And that's really, I think, not only a fundamental I've known ever since I've had the great honor and privilege of knowing Elder Sister Makoji Najiwi, whose name was given to her by my father. But what I see that is a whole purpose of the Compassion Games, the American Indian Science and Engineering Society. So many are rising at this time and coming together. And so any partnership we can make that is about understanding the oneness of the human family, the oneness of life, that is part of fulfillment of our sacred prophecies.
Yes, yes. Well, this is ours to do, and we will do it. This is the time. And I'm so grateful to you, Jane, for making time to share with our listeners. We encourage people to go discover Roots and Shoots. And Phil, thank you for making time for this conversation. This is such an important moment in our history. Everybody can sense it. We are rising. It is the time. Any other closing words before we end this conversation? Jane?
Well, I think I'd like to say that there is so much doom and gloom around us every day on the television, every day in the newspapers, the terrible political situation in the US and other parts of the world, the refugees. It's all doom and gloom. And I think it's really important to give people reason for hope. And my reasons for hope are the energy and commitment of young people when they're empowered to take action. The amazing human brain, which, as Phil says, can turn into a Frankenstein in its science. And I always say, only when head and heart work in harmony can we achieve our human potential. And what is being done technologically and in people's lives is very hopeful. The resilience of nature, places we have utterly destroyed, with time and perhaps a little help, can be restored. Many, many examples. Animals on the brink of extinction can be given another chance. Then there's the indomitable human spirit, the people who tackle the impossible and won't give up and succeed.
Yeah.
And finally, there's the tremendous power, if it's used rightly, of social media, which enables particularly young people to reach out and get gatherings worldwide of people who are coming together for a certain issue, fighting for justice, fighting for peace, or whatever the issue is. So I go around giving these reasons for hope, because if we lose hope, that's the end. We don't take action. Why should we? If we have no hope for the future, well, you can be apathetic and not bother and just eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. So those are my closing words. There is hope of a window of time, and if we get together, and that's why I love this meeting today between Brother Phil and myself. Together we will move ahead and make change.
Yeah, beautiful. Brother Phil.
Without question, the sacred prophecies of the ancient ones have promised that through this great, great spiritual wintertime, we would emerge stronger than ever before. Everywhere on Mother Earth, every member of the human family from the four directions. And that our prayers, our understanding of the natural laws, our vision of the future is so spiritually powerful, with great love, with great compassion, with great forgiveness, that finally no wall of steel nor tower of brass will finally be able to withstand this vision, this love, this compassion, this understanding of following the red road of life, following the natural laws. And in the end, there will emerge something that only the poets, only our greatest visionaries, only those who have been given for the people the vision and the demonstrated by their dedication and courage, as our elder sister, Makoji Najiwi. She's made that path for us to watch. And if we see so many people seeing that we are the curricula, we as human beings, how we live, how we walk, how we share, how tenderly we make the truth sweet. Because if it's harsh, if it's judgmental, if it's angry, it will never reach the hearts of the people. We need to make it sweet. And that's one thing that I've so learned from elder sister Makoji Najiwi, and that is, I've watched her for many years. She always manages to say strong, strong words, but she does it in such a sweet way. It touches the hearts of the people. Mitakiasi. Shunkmano hemeyodo, Chinupasapa hemeyodo. Ho.
Wow, there you go. Thank you to you both. You can see the beautiful examples of us rising on the Compassion Games site in the report map, where people from all over the world are embracing this moment to bring love and compassion to life. Thank you both for this call. Onward from
oh, hey.
Thank you both, and lots of love, younger brother Phil.
Yes. And to you, elder sister, to you, brother John.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Yes. Thank you both.
If we can't be happy today, what day are we waiting for? My dad always used to say.
Yes. Well, go well. Go well.
All right. Bye-bye.